During an inspection programme in the early 2000s, it was found that a section of the tunnel between Baker Street and Bond Street and Jubilee southbound was found to be deteriorating.
In London Underground, most tunnels are made up of cast iron segments. 1970s, the designers then tried to use a different type of lining, which is made up of concrete. The design works very well. Now, at Bond Street to Baker Street, the lining itself is more problematic because the soil around that section of the tunnel is basically detaching itself at certain locations away from the back of the tunnel. And that is not good structurally.
In 2009, following a number of feasibility reports and options, it was decided that the best solution was to replace the concrete segments that ran through that section with SGI, or spheroidal graphite iron segments.
From the start of the job 2 years ago until the conclusion of the job, SES and London Underground will have replaced almost 400 complete rings, taken out the concrete segments and installed SGI rings.
We've gone to all corners of the UK with respect to our supply chain, where our segments are machined and cast in a town just outside of Manchester.
Eaves has a history of some 30 years of supplying tunnel linings to major projects. For this particular application, to reline the section of tunnel, we produced around about 2,000 segments.
The main benefit of the London Underground business is the length the contracts last and how long they are. We've produced iron castings for just about every major project that's gone underneath London. We've got a lot of skills locally. Well, the North West, as you know, was the start of the Industrial Revolution in Manchester.
Our mining subcontractor for this works have come from Yorkshire to work with our team.
80% of the guys involved in this project have got some connection with mining, either coal mining or potash mining, various different deep mine tunnels. So we are experiencing ground control. You develop a sixth sense for ground conditions. So that's why we were invited to tender for this project in the first place.
To carry out this type of work in an operational tunnel has never been done before. So there was a lot of logistics that we had to look at to make sure that we could successfully complete it without impacting the travelling public.
We had some big challenges on this project. Two of the major constraints was the engineering hour window with respect to access, and likewise the availability of engineering transplant locos, which are obviously in high demand within our infrastructure.
Instead of actually going and trying to buy a new plant, we went to talk to our transplant colleagues, and they had a wagon, which we call a wasted wagon. It's a very long wagon. And we took that, our platform, to start designing. And we came up with the robotic arm, controlled through hydraulics and electronics, gave us basically a working platform that can be driven from Ruislip to the work site and then folded back and retracted and pull out at the end of the job.
We have at the moment two work sites, a north work site and a south work site. The guys on the north work site would probably have a working window of approximately 2 hours to 2 hours and 30 minutes.
So we've introduced first on London Underground with respect to tunnel works is called a proximity alert system. Ultimately, it's an exclusion zone system. An alarm is on the plant equipment which moving the segments. So when the moving plant is in operation, if an engineer operative walks into the exclusion zone, an audible alarm is carried out which all operatives can hear, and likewise a flashing siren goes off. That stops the operative moving this plant, and this is the next level of making sure that everyone on that train is safe and our plant is not causing any effect to any member of the project team. Our other innovation that we've brought into this project is a system called FOS. So these are ultimately lighting high visibility vests and jackets where no natural light is required. They can be seen up to just over a mile away in a tunnel. It's great news that London Underground has shown we can replace part of a life expired tunnel with new segments during engineering hours, which ultimately has had zero impact to the operational railway. We've got an outstanding safety record over the 3 years of the project. We're ahead of programme and ultimately under financial authority, which is great success for all involved.
It's been a success. We've had very few incidents. The ground has been tricky, but it's been well managed by Brendan and his team, and also the support we've had from our guys up at Doncaster has been great as well.
This project has been a success because of the collaborative approach across the board within the different departments of London Underground. We've worked closely with Transplant, timetables, events and closures, and in particular with Access and Planning, who have been a great support to the project, and without them we wouldn't be as successful as we are.